All right, so this is Böbl. I'm going to be showcasing the all ducks 1.1 route specifically for the tournament. So the beginning's pretty straightforward. You just kind of go under this pillar. If the shorter your dive here is, if you dive real shallow, you can get over that real easy, and that'll save a little bit of time compared to the beginning. But realistically, to be safer for a tournament setting, I would go down lower. Again, for this setting, the more careful you do it, the more reliable it'll be. So I go down all the way, go down pretty far, actually kind of stop. Here I turn left, and if I hit that bell, great. And if I don't, that's fine too. Pop back over, catch that bell if I didn't get it. That way, if I pop on this part, so on this part, what I'm doing here is I stay low until I'm just past this bell. I jump before I'm lined up with these two pillory things back here in the back. So I'm going. I jump right there. I go down. You don't have to go down all the way. You can actually save a little bit of time if you get your bell a little bit below. I mean, you can look at the pillar for a guideline, but if you go all the way down, you can just barely clear it. So for tournament, I go all the way down, go back up, or pretty close to all the way down. Clear that pillar. Go up here. This is the thing you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss getting that pipe so that you can come up, go around. Now, this part, I'm going to save state here because this is the setup for the Great Wall. Now, there's a range of ways you can go into this. So I see a lot of people go down here, slow down, stop, and then, you can pop. So go down here, stop, go over it, and then you can get that Great Wall. What I do is I always try to make sure that I'm in the middle to left portion of this wall. Because my trick doesn't work if I go on this right side. But if I go in the middle to left portion, right there, I hold left once I go down that waterfall, and then I skip over it every time. So see that again. Once I bounce once, I was too far to the left there. So after I getting thrown off, once I bounce, I hold down till I'm almost at the bottom, go up, and I get it very quickly, very consistently. But if I'm too far to the left with this trick, I'll risk popping on that pillar. Too far to the left and you risk popping on the way down. Too far to the right and your timing will be a little off. But still, that's a trick worth save state practicing because they call that the Great Wall for a reason. So pop over that. Now here, after you bob under that pillar, you just hold left for a good while. Not too much to do. From here, start to go down there, catch that pipe. I don't think it matters too much how you catch that pipe. And then I just go down, go into that part. So let's save state here. This part, you want to press down some to try to get a really clean pipe entry. Doesn't matter too much. You just got to make sure you catch that second pipe. And if your bubble is completely square with that pipe and you're not going too fast, you get a pretty good pipe entry. So you hold right, up, then right, there. Keep holding right, now hold down. And you've made it to iron ball. So for this part, there's not too much to it. You just want to make sure you don't pop. And so if you pop, you go back to here. It's not a big time loss. So from here, hold right, bob down, pop up, and go. Now for this waterfall part coming up, what I like to do is, I'm I mean, you can iron ball for this whole part, and it doesn't cost you all that much time. I like to let the waterfall carry me, because whenever you're going into a waterfall with momentum, or the iron ball will like slow you down sometimes in waterfalls. Like, check this out. Slows you down rather than letting you zoom. If you let go of iron ball in a waterfall, it'll zoom you faster. Up to a certain point. If you're already at full speed, it's just like you maintain whatever speed you went into the waterfall with if you hold iron ball. So that's kind of neat. So for this part, I zoom down, go to the right of the waterfall just so you don't get messed with. Pop down as deep as you can, and on those bounces there, let me save state there. With these bounces, if you're holding the button down, you don't bounce up very high. But if you pop down and let go, you can bounce higher. So that comes in really handy in that part, and in like Scrooge later. But you don't lose that much time if you bounce slower. What I like to do, if I can, is I like to clear it in one hop. So if it takes two, it's not the end of the world, though. It's not a big deal. So for this part right here, after this bell, it takes a lot of oomph to clear this pillar. You want to go down to about that fourth band. So you pop down here, go down to that fourth band, and then you can clear this pretty easily. You can do it from the third band, but if you go too shallow, what you may end up having to do is do a slow bounce off this pillar. Now, the frame perfect, like TAS way, is to just bounce off the edge of that pillar and go through there, but that's really hard to do. So from here, go down to at least that third or fourth band. Then you don't have to go very deep for the second pillar. So to clear that second one, so go down to that third or fourth band. You don't even have to go all the way down to that first band. For this part, you just tap. Now for the grandma. I'm going to get this. We're going to save state here. So if you just let go, you go all the way up, you bounce, you take forever. That's no fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up, bounce off that pillar. That's worth taking some practice. It looks hard. It looks super swag. People who aren't familiar with the run are sitting there going, whoa, that's cool. After you've practiced it a few times, I mean, you can still miss it. But after you've practiced it a few times, it's pretty free. Okay, so that's called the grandma. It's named after a jump in Super Mario or something like that. And so for this part, don't forget what screen you're in. Whoa, my save state gave me a weird pattern there. So coming out of this pipe, what you're going to do, you're going to come up, pop this bell. You're going to tap, tap, tap. And then this is probably the trick that is more by feel than anything else. Everybody's got a slightly different setup for it. So the intended route, and it's really not that slow, is to go up, over, down, and around, and start bonking your way into the basement. But this trick, what I do is I try to go just past that first crack and get as low as I can. Go past that first crack, this crack right here. And I'm holding right up until I start going up. So I'm going down, and then I kind of let off the gas there, and I'll bounce. So holding right, going down, popping up, and then I've got it. But getting that in a run is really tricky. I've seen some people come over here to this green patch, go up and over, and you can, and it's a little slower, and it's fine. Just don't forget to get that bell, because we're going to try to bell skip down here. And you can get it that way too. But you want to get that bell, and if you miss it, as long as you've got that bell, it's not going to cost you that much time. Like, I've popped on this and still got sub 6 times, and it's fine. So anyway, That's Grandma's basement. I'm going to try to get it one more time. And if you miss, as long as you don't run into this pillar over here on the left, you can come down in here. So let's save state right here. We're going to go... I do this. I have practiced that a lot. So, whoops. I save stated in a silly spot. Whoops. Here we go. Let me see if I can fix that there. All right, whatever. Okay. I go over here, go down, and just tap it once, and then I've got fast top route. So, again, this is the part where it matters if you are iron ball or not. What I've seen Moniker do, and some of the others who are practicing, if you hold iron ball, it keeps your speed a lot more consistent, and top route is actually easier. That's probably the way to go in this race, but it also doesn't hurt to go under. And that's pretty easy too.
Okay, Google, stop.
Don't worry about this part. It's pretty much whatever you practice will be very consistent, and it won't cost you much time no matter what you do there. Now for this waterfall, you just want to let go of iron ball for this part. So for that waterfall, you let go of iron ball, and you're going to zoom down it. I already wasted my save state there. And you'll notice I'm skipping those bells. You do not want to get those bells. So here, it looks kind of scary, but it's really, there's so much room. One thing that can happen to you in the basement is when you're going down, you can kind of catch a little piece of lag. It's not happening to me right now. But you want to be aware that if you are too close to anything, sometimes it'll stop your downward momentum for just a split second, and that can cause people to pop. So I try to clear everything as much as possible. So let's get down there one more time. Oh, and I got it. I didn't think I'd got it. You can mess up there pretty easily. So there we go. Got Grandma's basement. Fast top route. And down here, you just let go. Kind of go a little bit to the left so your waterfall's carrying you downward. And that's where we're at. So let me save state here. So for getting Darkwing, that's our first duck we're going to get. We go up close to that wall. Hold A the whole time after you're in the air. So let's do that again here. We hug that wall, go hold A, bonk, bonk. I didn't let go of it after I started going down. And that's very quick. Bonk, bonk. It's pretty easy. Looks cool. Pretty easy. I know some of the folks were talking about doing like a dark speed strat, which looks swaggy, but I don't think it saves that much time, and it's harder. So go up, bounce, bounce. Holding A the whole time. So from here, you got a couple of options. Let me save state. That is the swaggiest way to do it. It's also really hard. So again, what I did there is you start going down there, you'll thread the needle, but that is super precise. That is essentially TAS only. I only tried it because, well, I don't know, it looks cool. But it's pretty easy to go over top there. But what I do in the race is I go in between those two blocks. You can slow down some and thread the needle, and it's not too hard. So it just all depends on what you're comfortable with, how much risk. If you're trying to thread the needle and you bonk there or there, well, if you bonk on the side of a block, what we found out is you go up about 3 blocks. But if you bonk on the bottom, you go up about 5. Or bonk on the top, rather. You go up about 5. So bonking on the side is a little safer. And it depends on where you hit, too. So if you're trying to thread the needle there and you bonk on the side, it's going to kick you backwards, too. So that's why I say it doesn't save that much. It doesn't save you that much time to go under, so do it a little easier. Now, this part. This is the part that you really want to skip that bell. So let me get a save state. What I do, and remember how I said you go up about 5 blocks? You bonk there, hold A till it catches you, and you're flat on this. It's really quick. Now, you can always, there's a quicker way to do it. You can always try to do like that stuff, but it's very easy to hit that block. Or you can just pop up and bounce to your flat. I like being flat here because what happens is, as I'm going to the right, I just tap A. Tap A, you pop out of the water, and then you can hold A again, you bounce on that roof, you've skipped the bell. It's really nice. So, bam, tap, and you're over. Once again, hold A till it catches you, let go of it. You get real flat real fast on that water. So I literally bonk on the bottom. No problem. Just tap A as I'm going to the right, and I've cleared it. Now, if you're really good at it, and if I were going for PBs, that's what I would be trying to do. I would try to go all the way over it, but there's risk associated with that. You can hold it a little longer and go up higher, but again, hitting that bell there makes you have to ride this long extra path. And I even skipped double jump there. So what you want to do is you want to bonk, go over, get double jump, and now since you've skipped all the bells, you can pop there. And you're back here, which is really nice. If you do hit the bell, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to cost you whoa. Remember, hold A. That's one thing that can happen. Until you see yourself go down, then you let go. And then you get that double jump, and you pop. That avoids the ride of shame, which gets you back here pretty quick if you do hit that bell. So say you do. Say you're trying this and you pop over and you hit that bell and you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, it's fine. Because you're going to go out through here. And you just kind of hold right after you go through this really long pipe. Really long pipe. And then you just pop over here. And you don't have to really think about anything. You end up right back where you're supposed to be. Right? So, in an ideal world, what happens? I said, in an ideal world, what happens is you pop up, you stop there, you bounce over, you get the double jump, you pop, and you're up where you want to be without any trouble. So for this part, what I do first is I go up, I bounce on that, I pop over here, and I get this duck. So let me remember to actually make a save state this time. So I go up, go down, pop up, bounce, jump, so that I can hit that cloud, and then I've got Affleck. The reason why I get Affleck first is because I can go down and hit Scrooge. So it does not matter which order, if you want to get Affleck and Scrooge first or you want to get Darkwing first. But because there is a backup way to get Scrooge second if you get Deadeye first, but anyway. So once again, what I do, go up, go down, hit this bell, bounce right here, and double jump, because you have to double jump to hit that cloud. And then I hold Iron Ball, gets me down in this pipe. You can hold left and B here, and you'll automatically double jump when you come out of this pipe. You don't have to think. So I'm just holding left. I go down, I hit Iron Ball, and then I pop over. You want to avoid that bell too. There is a slightly quicker variant that involves... Let me save state. A slightly quicker variant that involves, like, bouncing over that pillar as you're falling. So what would happen is you fall, bounce over that bell. It's not as safe. It's easier to hit that bell. You really don't want to hit that bell. So whatever works for you. I like diving down and coming up. It's just more consistent for me. So now going into Scrooge. This is right at the beginning of the game. And so the safest thing to do is sit there and hold A and drill down, and you've got Scrooge. And you pop, and you're back here. It's a wonderful place to be. The quickest way involves, like, timing your bounces so that you spend less time sitting there drilling, but it only saves like half a second. So if you're still learning this run or you're going for like a marathon rather than a PB, I would honestly just recommend not bouncing up because it's easy to accidentally hit the ceiling like that. So I'm going to just drill out, bam, 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 bam. Then you get to duck. Just a little point here. As you're going down, make sure you go to the right a little bit. If you're not certain you're going to hit him, you're not super confident, you can make sure you bounce first. Doom, 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 doom. Now, you have 3 ducks. You got to get your 4th. So, up here, there's Deadeye. This bell skip here, take your time. You bounce up, double jump over, and dive down next to that bell. What I do at full speed is I do that double jump. I know Moniker does he does this at like full speed and doesn't even double jump there. I'm not certain I know how to do that. I've not been practicing it at all. Because it's real easy to mess up and hit that bell or bounce off that pillar.
He's acting happy now. He's playing.
I think it's just like when you did the Great Wall earlier, if you do it at full speed. But again, that's real easy to hit that bell. So what I recommend personally, until you're real good at it, is you come up, double jump when you're really close to it. So you come down, double jump there, and this is what I get for trying to record a tutorial right now, huh? So you can double jump right there. You double jump there, and you dive down. And again, this is one of those things I practice a bunch. And I can get. So at speed, I go down, pop up, and dive down to the right of the bell, left of the pillar. You've got a decent chunk of room there. Now, if you skip that bell, you want to go to the right. It'll pop you up, and you can double jump there. It makes it real easy to get over that pillar. And you can get Darkwing. Now, there is a frame-perfect pop that's possible on Darkwing. So let's go down here, get this bell skip, and now I'm going to save state right here. So once again, double jump as you pop back out of the water. You do want to tap just in case you pop up into that pillar. And so you've got your double jump here. Pop up in case you pop back up, and then you can try to pop there, but give it a couple tries. And if you don't get it, that's fine. It doesn't cost you all that much time. It saves maybe a second if you get the frame perfect pop. And I'm not getting it right now. That's okay. Try that twice. Try the frame perfect pop twice. And if you... Whoop. You don't want to hold right too quickly on here because you can pop right there. Bam. But if you hold right there, you'll pop on the edge, just like I showed you earlier. Now, say you actually missed bell skip. You want to go around and get this bell. Now, going over this pillar is actually one of the trickier things in the game if you don't use that double jump trick. But if you have to get that bell, it's hard to get the double jump trick going because you have to go a little bit to the left, and then your double jump's going to bonk you into that pillar. So you go a little bit to the left, make sure you get this, assuming you missed your bell skip. You want to go down to where the bottom of your bubble touches the second band, and that'll get you right over this pillar. And that's important to know if you miss that bell skip because you really don't want to hit that bell. Oh, there's a frame perfect pop. Now you're back here. You go down to that second band, and you've got a little bit of wiggle room. Here, you hold right and hold double jump. That'll bounce you up, and you can... So, I forgot to get the duck there. So, get the duck. Get your frame perfect pop. Now, bounce over this pillar. Hold right. Hold your double jump down. You'll pop down here. You can bounce off that pillar and double jump, and there's your backup. And if you hadn't missed that when you popped, you'd be right back here. So from here, we've got half the ducks. So we go down, and my visual cue for this portion is I go down till I want to get close to the bottom whenever I am on the left end of the screen at the transition. Then I stop holding, double jump, and I hit that bell. Now, Plucky, everybody hates Plucky. There's a lot of different things that can go wrong with Plucky. So as I'm going to the left, I'm bobbing up and down, bobbing up and down, bobbing up and down. I go up, I catch him. And then you can pop here. It's real easy to pop. So let's go all the way through this again. Down at the bottom, jump up, hit that bell. And if you miss it, it's not a big deal. You can pop over here. Just make sure you hit that bell. If you are not going for like a PB, if it's a marathon, make sure you hit this because it's real easy to pop on Plucky. So from here, the quickest thing to do is just barely touch him, come back around, and then you have to remember to go down as you come back up. Because if you come back up at full speed here, you'll hit that ceiling. So you have to hold A at some point. What I've been doing in my races is I come up, I grab Plucky, I stop my momentum halfway up that pipe. Because there's a million places to pop there. You can be coming up and pop on this edge. You can come up too quick. You can get Plucky and pop there. A pop on Plucky is demoralizing, but it's not a big time loss. And so you hold left here. Don't forget you have to bounce over this. And at this point, the quickest thing to do is something like this. It's you hold down and you bounce off that so that you bounce up into that pipe. But it's not such a big deal. However you get up into that pipe, if you bounce off the clouds, you cost a little bit of time. So I like to double jump up into clouds to give myself some downward momentum. So if you're bouncing over here to the left and you don't get the height, it's no big deal. You just jump up into that. So now, Ferdinand, you bounce down, you jump up, and that's how you want to do it. So what I'm actually doing here is I hold A till I hit the bottom, and then you should bounce out with full momentum, and you don't get what's called tar pitted. What can happen is if you let go of A too early, you get stuck down here and you don't bounce up quite as high. You can still get out, but it's trickier. So if you let go of A too soon, you get tar pitted, but you can just hold A and you bounce down. Cool. So the ideal is hold A long enough to get that bounce off the bottom, and you'll get out fine. If you hold A too long, you might get stuck on the bottom because the cloud will reset your momentum, and you'll get tar pitted too. It really is kind of a timing thing. But Fast Ferdinand is not as precise as people might think. Now this part, that's the quickest way to go about this. So our save stated there. So the quickest thing involves bouncing. So you have to, essentially, as you're coming from this screen to the left, you jump up into that cloud and use your momentum to bounce up. Basically, in this whole cloud section, it's all about moving smoothly and quickly. And some of the things you can do to gain height is you want to hold A to slam down from as large a height as possible, and you'll slowly gain height. So if you're bouncing real low and you hold A, you'll eventually bounce higher. But the quickest thing to do is get that double jump, and you'll bounce even higher when you're at the apex. The absolute quickest thing to do is to bounce off of something that's above you, and you gain a lot of momentum really fast. So to get up here to get Wild Wing, quickest way, bounce off that cloud, go to the right, and so right after bouncing, you want to be holding A as much as possible because that gives you the most momentum forward. Now, if you miss it, no big deal. You can just bounce here, jump, bounce here, jump, bounce here until you've got enough height. From here, I like to slam down there so that I pop down in there and then double jump over here. If you bounce on this pillar coming down, it's not a problem. Usually in my runs, what I like to do is clear that pillar, but I'm not certain why. So I come in here, I grab Wild Wing, I come down, and I like to clear that pillar. The idea is, though, you don't want to bounce on this one. Because if you bounce on this one, you can't pop up and get as quickly through this portion. It's not a big loss, but I like to pop up and then slam down there, and it's very quick. So I'm going to pop on purpose. So coming down through here, I pop up. I don't hit on this portion at all. Bam, bam. Now on the next screen, you see how there's this cloud in the middle. It can kill your forward momentum. So you just have to have a plan to deal with it. There's more room above it. So I like to, as I'm going through this screen, make sure I'm bouncing down at the screen transition. So I come up and then I bounce off of it. I want to bounce off of it, save my double jump so that I pop in here and then go through this area. This area, weirdly enough, can mess with you. I just slam there, jump, slam there, jump, slam there, jump. Now, here's another situation where doing the bouncing back and forth, a lot of people don't like it, but I really like the bouncing back and forth. So the quick way I do this cloud portion is I try to set it up so that I bounce off the bottom of that cloud as quickly as possible. Hold A and you'll gain momentum. For this portion, once again, so bounce off that cloud. You may bounce off it twice if you don't get to the right quickly enough. That's fine. So for this portion, you got two options. You can bounce, 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 and that's pretty quick. What I usually do is I bounce, jump into that cloud, and skip going to the left and right. It feels faster to me. This one is easier to do that rather than going to the right. Bounce up into that cloud. Pretty much everybody does the double jump there, or double bounce off the cloud there. Now here, you bounce up and down until you're sure you can get that bell. And don't forget to get Howard. So what you do on this part is as you're going down, I hold to the right, bounce off the side a couple times, let go right before I touch Howard, and then pop. So let's see that again. So bounce, get Howard, and go down and pop. You don't have to bounce underneath on that cloud, but it's pretty fast if you do. So where I'm holding A is I'm holding A as I'm going down, let go as I get into this screen so that I just kind of gently bounce, and then hold A as I'm going down again. So holding, let go, hold, let go. And then you get that nice pretty fall. I know some people do it this way where they, but going to the left and right feels awkward. Bounce, bounce, go this way, and then go down. Cool. So that at this point, you're home free. You're basically done. You bounce. Jump there. And I like to bounce off the left side because it gets you into the pipe a little faster. Just a smidge. Maybe a frame. Don't try to bounce off the left side any place where there aren't stars because I have popped in that pipe before, and that's just sad. Then you ride this happy little thing to victory. And make sure that while I was sitting here talking through this, I remembered to get all the ducks. And you say quack. Huzzah. And you bounce around in here. If you forget a duck, you can pop in here. It's no problem. And you'll go back to where the last place you hit a bell was. So if you forget a duck, it's like, oh no. It's fine. You can go back and get him. And that's Böbl.